Great conversation, incredible interviews, a place to just go and listen. Arroe.net, ARROE.net. Let's play it forward. Real people, real stories, the struggle to play it forward. Episode number 286 is with boxing legend and movie director Ray Boom Boom Mancini from the film 645. Dude, I am so inspired by the fact that you are the story that is now bringing other stories to life in other people's hearts. How are you able to do this movement of energy the way that you have done this?
Look, what's the old saying? One of my favorite lines is, life is meant to be lived.
Yep.
So my point being is, boxing was one chapter of my life. It was only one chapter. There's other chapters to be written. So when I retired, and I was retired young, there's other things I wanted to pursue. I didn't know exactly what when I was fighting. Well, fighting was my sole focus, my attention. But when I knew, when I was looking to get out, I didn't know what I was going to transition to, but I was being represented by the William Morris agency at the time for commercial endorsements and appearances and commentary and things like that. So when I retired, I talked to my agent and said, look, I want to get in the entertainment business, because I was being offered roles in TV and film, but I was never able to take advantage of it because I was always in training camp. So he said, look, you got to be here. You got to be where the action is. So consequently, I moved to LA. It seemed like a good idea. And, I started bouncing around, going into auditions, and you get some roles, you miss on most. And after a couple of years, I said, "Look, man, I want to do it. I want to do this. I'm serious about this. I want to do it. This is my new career." And a friend of mine, Mickey Rourke, said, "Raymond, you got to pursue this like you pursued your fight, in your fight career. You got to train with the best." Yeah. So I found an acting coach named Howard Fine. Mickey recommended him highly. And Howard was like the Angelo Dundee of the entertainment, of the acting business. And I studied with him for several years. And once you're prepared, then you go in. So now you feel like you have the instincts, you have what it takes, and now you have the preparation. Now I'm trained. I'm a trained actor. And then I did a stage. I did an off-Broadway stage in New York in 1991, and that was the first time I felt like an actor. And it was the first time you get the immediate response from the crowd, like in a fight, and it was tremendous. And I look forward to doing a stage again. And since then I've done over 20 films and things like that. But what I realized early on was when I was going for auditions, I wasn't always getting auditions. Like I say, you get some, but you miss on most. But the hard part for me was in the fight game, you control your own destiny. I'm in the ring, I win, I lose, I lose. It's in my hands. In this business, you control very little. Whether you get the gig or not is up to to the producers, director, the casting directors, and I had a hard time with that. So finally, I said I got to do something to try to guarantee some work for myself. So I started my own production company in 1987, knowing nothing about production, but I learned very quickly, and I made every mistake you can make. And that's how you learn, obviously. But eventually you keep moving, keep forward. And I was starting to develop relationships with writers, some that later became big-time writers. And they give me scripts and let me move it. And, but you got to go out and find the money. So that's always the most difficult part in any business, obviously. But since then, I've been able to produce for MGM. I've produced for Warner Brothers, several independent films. So I've been able to do it. And I'm very proud of that. And the fact that I've been doing it and pretty successfully, but not at a great rate, but certain projects. And I'm very proud of that. And you just keep moving forward. It's like in a fight game. You just keep moving forward. And same thing in the entertainment business.
Yeah. Well, look at what you've done with this movie 645, which is in theaters. The thing that is impressive about this is that you have now created a mile marker in the way that people are going to look at 645 on their phone. They're going to look at it and they're going to be instantly thinking about the events of this movie. You have a new age of scare in this film.
Yeah, well, it's funny. I read the script about 3 years ago, and the one thing, it scared the hell out of me. And I read scripts all the time. No, I several scripts. But it scared me. It had me hooked. I read it one sitting, and I said, I got to be part of this. And the director, Craig Singer, I have him set for another project of mine. And so he gave it to me. He said, Raymond, this is something that's ready to go. And when I read it, I just said, I got to be involved. And, so I was able to bring some money to the table. And and get on board. And so come on as a director, as a producer, and you know, like I said, I wanted to be involved somehow. But the one thing about being a producer on it is that you guarantee work for yourself. So I find that role that I wanted to play, and you know, my son plays in it with me, and my son's an actor who comes from the world stage, and he's done several films lately, and so you know, we got small roles, but they're important roles, and they're in the last half of the movie. So if anybody's looking for me, you'll find me in the last half hour. So not that anybody would be, but if you are, that's where I'll be.
I love the way that Sammy Hagar gives you incredible kudos for giving them the name of their album, Unlawful Carnal Knowledge.
Yeah.
My God, dude. Yeah. I mean, you see how you've touched people over the years, and you continue to do it.
I appreciate it. I'm honored by it. I'm very flattered, you know, and I appreciate Sam. You know, how that come about. That was a whole different thing. I was getting friends with Sammy, and we were at his beach home in Malibu, and he told me, you know, I said, what's going on with the next album? He said, I want to name it F. I want to name it F. And I go, and he goes, but I think we get away with it. But the Warner Brothers, which their label type, said they don't think we can, but I think we can. I said, well, they wouldn't have a problem if they knew what it meant. So what are you talking about? I said, the word's an acronym. The word means nothing. It's a connotation behind it. What are you talking about? My mother was an English major, so I learned this. She said, if you're ever going to use that word, you better know what it means. I said, back in Old English rule, when men would have sex with underage girls, they get brought up on charges, and they put for unlawful carnal knowledge. But instead of writing it so much, they just put F period, U period, C period, K period. And then when the men in the King's Court, now how reminiscent is it? You know, what happened back then in King's Court is still happening now, right? In the King's Court, we're doing the same thing. Instead of changing the initials, they just put fornication under consent from the king. That's true. That's a true story. So but that's what the word means. The word means absolutely nothing. It's the connotation behind it. It's an acronym. And when I told him, they goes, that's what it means? I said, yeah. He goes, well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to name it that. And that's how that came about.
Part of music history as well. Dude, you got to come back to this show anytime in the future. I want the world to know your story and how you continue to grow forward.
Thank you. I'm very kind. I'll be honored to. I appreciate you having me, and thank you so much. I'd love to come back. We'll have to set that up.
Absolutely. You be brilliant today, okay, sir?
I appreciate that. You too, my friend. Thank you. God bless.